All right. Well, according to the most recent available FBI statistics, crime in the U.S. has been trending steadily downward for years, falling 19% between 1987 and 2011. Additionally, the job of being a police officer has become safer as the number of police killed by gunfire plunged to just 33 last year, down 50% from 2012. But even though crime has gone down, a Justice Policy Institute report shows that state and local spending on police has soared over the last 20 years, from $40 billion in 1982 to more than $100 billion in 2012. At the same time, the Bureau of Justice Statistics reports law enforcement personnel has seen a major surge, jumping from 603,000 officers in 1992 to 794,000 officers in 2010. So why is policing in America ramping up even as the crime rate is falling? Let's bring in RT's Ramon Galindo for more. Hi, Ramon. Okay, first of all, I'm going to ask the glaring question here. A lot of people will look at these numbers and say the crime rate is going down because there are more officers policing the streets. So how do we know that more police hasn't led to less crime? Are there other, factors playing into this?
Well, Amira, there were signs that crime was on the decline even before we saw this huge surge in police spending. And when you look at police chiefs around the country, a lot of times they trump up their efforts as far as how it's contributing to the reduction of crime in order to get more funding. So obviously there's an incentive for them to say that their work is helping to prevent crime. But as far as sociologists and researchers that look into the reduction of crime, something that they can, a couple of the factors that they can agree on is the fact that the U.S. population is getting older, and older people tend to commit less crimes. And another thing that people are starting to agree on a little bit more is that the rise of immigrants in large cities, such as here in Los Angeles or New York, has contributed greatly to the reduction of crime. These immigrant families bring traits that depress crime, such as being out on the streets more often and having younger families.
Well, one of the things an article points out, an article that was published in Who What Why, is that crime is going down, yet at this point somehow Americans are more likely to be killed by police than by terrorists, which is kind of incredible to think about. Looking at these numbers we found provides a little perspective on that. In 2011, 17 people killed by terrorism, with 393 killed by police, and then in 2012, 10 were killed by terrorism, with 410 people killed by police. So Ramon, how do we account for those high numbers?
No, yeah, it's truly incredible. According to the State Department, in 2012, a total of 11,000 people worldwide were killed in terrorist attacks, but only 10 of those were U.S. citizens. And those FBI numbers about police shootings, that's just the felons. That doesn't include other people who were not felons who were shot and killed by police. So when we look at the increased police militarization in the U.S., I mean, this all started with the war on drugs and the increase of SWAT use for regular police use. And in post 9/11 America, we've seen the federal government contribute military-style equipment to local police departments. And the more and more that these small police departments have access to these military-type weapons, it's more likely that they're going to use them out in public.
And in the article that I mentioned, a woman by the name of Bridget Keller, she heads up the National Police Accountability Project of the National Lawyers Guild. She said that a major problem is that these days officer safety is given primacy over protect and serve. What exactly did she mean by that?
Sure. Well, many times police officers justify them shooting other people by saying that they felt that their life was in danger. But as you mentioned earlier, I mean, last year there were 33 deaths in the line of duty, police officers who were shot and killed. That's the lowest number since the 19th century. So for anti-police brutality activists, they feel that police have a license to shoot somebody, and then later they can just say that they felt threatened. So in a way, these police officers are going into the public kind of feeling that the public is a threat to them. And then there's the thing of accountability, where police officers in most cases are not disciplined for using what some people determine excessive force out in the public.
And Keller also talks about the perception of this kind of policing and how that also may be a factor in why it's happening, why it's perhaps acceptable. Can you shed some light on how that really plays a role?
Sure. Well, even though crime has been reducing in America over the last couple of decades, the perception that many see in the public is what they see on the local TV, which is dominated by crime stories. So this makes it a little bit easier for police departments to give that excuse that they felt threatened because there is all this danger in the public. And many times local media outlets who work hand in hand with the police department on a regular basis don't push back on that. But as more and more video of this excessive force comes out, and as anti-police brutality activists have pushed back more and more, we're starting to see more and more people becoming aware of these more aggressive policing tactics.
All right, RT correspondent Ramon Galindo, thanks for that reporting.
You bet.